of some questions. Trig substitution, common trig substitution table. You should know this table well, guys. When you have a square root of a squared minus x squared, or a squared plus x squared, or x squared minus a squared, you should follow here or substitute x equal a sine or a tan or a sec, such that a is the square root of this a. Yes. The domain of each one of them is listed, and also the identity we should use also is listed in this table. So let's start first here by example 1. We have the square root of 9 minus x squared over x squared. Yes, we did this example in the first. Yes, we did this example in the first period. So let's pass it and move to the next one. This one also we did it?
I guess.
No. Yes, this one, we can do it here. Make a new page, Abdul, and it's a grid. Okay. Yes, pay attention, please. When we have 1 over x squared radical x squared, and the question asking to evaluate here the integral. Because you have inside the radical here underneath the square root x squared plus 4, so we have to use which one? Let's move up here to the table. X squared.
Tan.
X squared plus what?
Tan.
Yes, we will use tan. Yes, here. Yes, we will use tan. So the a
is 2 because
a is equal to 2.
Because
Excellent.
a squared is equal to 4.
Because a squared is equal to 4.
And then x we will make it 2 tan theta.
Yes, and now here we let x equal to what?
2 tan theta.
Tan theta. So guys, because inside the square root we have x squared plus 4, so we can let here the x as
2 tan theta.
لا حول. طيب, it's what? 2 tan theta. طيب, differentiate here both sides with respect to x. We have x, its derivative is dx is equal to
6 squared.
Yes, 2, and the integral, the derivative of tan excellent 6 squared theta d theta.
And
okay,
then also
so we have the d.
squared.
Yes, we have now the dx, and we have only x. لازم نطلع ال x squared. حلو جدا يا man. So pay attention شباب, especially the ones who didn't attend the first class today. X squared, like Ahmed Saeed. Okay, x squared equals what?
4 tan squared.
4 tan squared theta. Square here. So we have to use x squared, and also we have to use dx and also rakan, and substitute in the question. Equal the integral of 1 over.
لا مستر شيل ال 1 وحط بدلها 2 6 squared theta d theta.
Okay, yes, you can do this, and you can leave the 1. X squared is 4. Yes, is 4 tan squared theta, and here we have the square root of x squared. The x squared is again 4 tan squared theta plus 4 times the d theta, as the dx. We can replace the dx by 2 6 squared theta d theta. Okay, yes. Now simplify, guys. How to simplify? Try to simplify this one.
First, simplify the root.
The 2 with the 4.
Yes.
It's 2.
Half.
And simplify this root. Yes. يلا, simplify this root. Equal the integral of 1 over
صار فينا نطلع
2 tan. Yes, I'll leave it now right now عشان نعملها simplify تاني. and the 4 will be outside the square root as 2.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 tan squared,
It's going to
2
be
tan
root
squared.
of 4, which is 2, and root of tan, which is tan squared, which is
right?
tan.
We will
plus
take 4,
2.
guys. We will take 4 as a common factor. Here 4 and here 4. So underneath the square root, take 4 as a common factor. So you have tan squared theta plus 1. And then multiplied by 6 squared theta d theta. Equal the integral of 1 over 2 tan squared. This 4, radical 4 is what?
2.
Radical 4 is 2. أو 4 تطلع من برا السكوير روت as what? As 2.
As
Okay.
2, so it will
So
be
we have
4.
here 2. And we still have now what? Radical
Root tan squared theta
tan squared
plus 1.
plus tan squared theta plus 1.
Use the identity
is
to change it.
It's 6 squared theta.
6. Yes, secant squared.
Again, we have يا شباب هنا tan squared theta plus 1, its identity equals to 6 squared theta multiplied by 6 squared theta d theta. تمام.
Now the root of 6
Nice.
squared
Okay.
is 6 لحالها.
Right. So we will simplify more.
1 over
2
4
tan
squared. No, 4.
squared theta. Yes, now 4. Yes, because 2 by 2. Yes, it's now 4. And you can let it outside as a constant. I'll leave it. The square root of 6 squared is only
6.
6. Okay, and here what? 6 squared theta.
Square cancel out مع 6.
Cancel, yes, with the square. And you still have 1 over
4.
1 over 4, the integral of
secant.
Let's try here to change the Let's try here to change the tan squared. Can we write it as guys as 6 squared theta minus 1? 6 squared theta minus 1 multiplied by 6 theta d theta. Okay. It's tan squared and x equals to tan. Okay, طيب. And then here on one page. Yes.
Cancel out again?
No. Cancel what?
Secant theta was secant square.
No, cannot cancel. So leave it as 6 theta over tan squared theta and write it as 6 theta over 10 and try to simplify it. We can leave it as 10 squared.
هو أنا هيك كنت عامل بس you said change.
Or 6 over 10 squared. What is 6 here? 6 over 10 squared. So we have 10 squared theta over yes. Then we can simplify here the 10. 6. We can write it as 1 over 10 theta and multiply by 6 theta over 10 theta.
Yes.
1 over 4. And here d theta. Yes. 1 over 10 is what? Cotan. 1 over 10 is what? Cotan. And here the 1 over 4 the sec. Sec over 10. The sec is 1 over
tan.
Cosine.
1 over cosine.
Sec 1 over cosine. And the tan is sine
over cosine.
Over what? Over cosine. So we can cross out the cosine with the cosine. And we still have only 1 over sine.
1 over sine.
Leave 1 over sine here. So we have d theta here. طيب. So we have 1 over 4. The cotan at this. Cotan theta multiply by what? هيطلع ايه من هنا شباب؟
1 over sine.
1 over sine. The 1 over sine is what? Cosec.
Cosec
theta d theta. طيب cotan cosec أو cosec cotan. You know what's the derivative of cosec theta?
Cosecant.
It's negative. Cotan cosec صح? With the derivative of cosec theta is negative cosec cotan.
Yeah.
So we can now say that what's the antiderivative or the integral of cosec cotan? The positive one is negative cosec. So it's a negative 1 over 4 cosec theta plus c. Okay, this is in terms of what? Of theta.
Now
so draw here our
triangle.
We should find the value of what? We should find the value of what?
of theta.
ايوه يعني نشوف كوتان ثيتا بكام لان احولها لاكس. Right triangle. In the beginning, guys, we said in x equal 2 tan theta, right? The first step here, we let x equal to tan theta. So what's tan theta here?
Opposite
From this
over
relationship.
adjacent.
We can say that it's x over 2. Yes. And we know that here theta, طيب, theta mister is tan theta equal opposite over adjacent. The opposite will be x and the adjacent is 2. الرول عادي ده اسمه هذا الايه التان. The third side using Pythagorean theorem is equal to
root both sides.
X squared both sides. Both of them. X squared plus 4 is plus 2 squared which is 4. 2 squared which is 4. الكويشن الأخيرة أو القصد الفاينل ستيب الأخير فيه cosec theta. Cosec theta which was what? The cosec is 1 over sine. And the sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the cosec is hypotenuse over opposite. The hypotenuse, and this all x to the power of 2 plus 4 over the opposite of the angle, which is x plus the c. That's why, guys, we have to draw this triangle to find the value of cotan, cosec theta, or any value we have in terms of x. We have cosec, right?
Yes, cosec is 1 over sine. بعدين.
طيب, the cosec is 1 over sine. وأنا عارف إن الساين is opposite over hypotenuse.
Opposite over hypotenuse.
طيب, flip them. Hypotenuse over opposite is the cosec.
Yes. Okay.
Reciprocal. The cosec is the reciprocal of 1 of sine. يعني cosec
yes.
equal 1 over sine.
Yeah, والساين هون x over root over
the
root.
sine is x over root x squared. Yes.
فهمت. شكرا.
Exactly. Welcome. So here, as you see, guys, your final answer is negative quarter into radical x squared plus 4 over x plus c. So again, I would like you guys to have a quick look here in this question. شوف كده how we started and why we used exactly 2tan. Why not sine or sec? Because in this table, this is the summary of the lesson. This is the important table in the lesson, guys. You should know that if you have a squared minus x squared underneath the square root, you have to use x equal a sine theta. If you have a squared plus x squared underneath the square root, use a tan theta. And that's why we used here in this question a tan theta. A is now, حسب الquestion, according to the question, the a is 2 because the a squared is 4. So its root is 2. So we use the 2 tan theta. We use the 2 tan theta and square it because I have in the question x squared. So x squared is 4 tan squared theta. Differentiate y to find dx, to replace also the dx or to substitute dx برضو. You have now the integral of 1 over 4 tan squared theta inside the square root 4 tan squared theta plus 4. From inside the square root, take 4 common factor, تطلع outside the square root as 2. 2 by 2 is 4. The square root of secant squared لازم تكون عارف the identities. Tan squared theta plus 1 is 6 squared theta. Tan squared plus 1 is 6 squared theta. Try, guys, to simplify. تفضل تعمل simplify until you reach this step. We have 6 theta over tan squared theta. Here's important step here. This one. Tan squared, I wrote it as tan and tan. Okay? I sent the tan squared in the denominator into tan and tan. In the numerator, 1 over tan and sec over tan. 1 over tan, which is cotan, and sec over tan. The sec is 1 over cosine, and the tan is sine over cosine. And simplify this all. Leave only cosec theta, because 1 over sine is sec. في رول عندنا جاهز هو the integral of cosec cotan equals negative cosec theta plus c. Okay. You should not leave your answer in terms of theta. هو أصلاً أعطاك الquestion as x أو in terms of x. ترجعها تاني as x. How to return it back as x? Draw a triangle, right triangle. Use this fact انت حطيتها في الاول استخدمتها. You assumed that x is 2 tan theta, so the tan is x over 2. Draw the triangle, put here somewhat, put the variables حسب التان، يعني tan opposite over adjacent. يبقى we put x over 2. Sometimes you have sign يبقى opposite over hypotenuse، يبقى x over 2 2 تكون مكان الهايبوتينيوس حسب. Okay, and then find the third side عشان يكون معاك one triangle. You can find منه any trig function you have in the final step here. So because I have cosec, we wrote it as hypotenuse over opposite, because the cosec is the reciprocal of what? Of sine. And write your final answer. Now your turn, guys. If you have any question, ask me. أي step مثلا مش فاهمها أي حاجة قول لي عليها. يلا. طيب. As you see, guys, here in this worksheet, we have practice problems all about what? Trig. He says for you, if you get stuck, don't worry. Okay, try some of the problems below. If you get stuck, don't worry. There are what? Hints on the next page. But don't try without looking at them first. يعني try to finish first your question قبل ما تبص على الhints. Chances, okay. طيب, the first question is, let's take here question number.
أول سؤال نفس اللي حلناه بالضبط.
يا سيبك منه. طيب, and also question, we would like to take one for sec. For sec here, when we have a squared minus something minus, يعني a squared minus x squared.
Number 2, Mr.
Minus gives a sec, ولا plus gives a sec? The plus gives a 10, and the sec is x squared minus a squared. Yes, x squared minus x squared. Like number 7. Unlike number 2.
Number 2 مستر إبراهيم نحل شكله زنخ.
يلا. Yes.
مستر أول شيء حنطلع
Yeah, I think first, guys, of what inside the square root. It's 9 minus x squared, and there is root. Both of them are perfect squares. So, على طول trick substitution. And your substitution here is not only one part of the question, like the substitution U substitution way. لا. مش تقدر تاخد 9 minus x squared. طيب.
both.
You can solve it by using U substitution على فكرة. صح؟
Yes.
We use U substitution ممكن تزبط، لأن لو أخذنا 9 minus x squared as U
تزبط.
So we can differentiate, you can find it as negative 2x squared, يعني du over negative 2x squared, but you still have x up here. You should solve وكده. Understood?
صار بتزبط.
يعني why?
Because then
يكون معك فيه فوق x squared.
طيب
هيفضل
ما
معك
احنا
x
نعملها
squared.
integrate للx squared. تصير x
طيب,
cube
you
over
can let
3 لو
u
ضلت
as
يعني.
9 minus x squared. This is the u substitution, guys. The u substitution method.
Yes.
We started
du
before.
over
هناخذ
du.
du. Yes, عبد الرحمن.
Negative 2x
squared equal 9 minus u. X squared
9 minus u.
equal 9.
X squared is 9 minus u. Yes.
Yes.
So after we do the elimination with the du over negative, we can substitute.
Yes, so we have dx equal du over negative 2x. This is for du and the u. But you have to also find what? The x squared.
Which is 9 minus
and
u.
you see why, guys. The integral of x cubed root u multiply by the dx. What's the dx?
du over negative
du
2x.
over negative 2x.
Cancel x مع x.
Okay.
Negative half برا.
طيب. Cancel x with the cube. We still have x squared.
And put negative
and the
half
negative
outside.
half. Negative half constant. Leave it outside. And then the integral of x squared. X squared
multiply u power half. X squared.
X squared you can find it from here.
Yes. Yeah.
9 minus u. 9 minus u. And then substitute 9 minus u. And here radical
u power
write
half.
it as u power half. G.
So 9.
And then finish
9.
the question. Easy here.
Yes, بالضبط.
Yes. So عادي, no problem. And question 2 solve it by using u substitution or trig substitution. But if the radical here or the root ده تحت في denominator, Yes, you have to use what? Trig
trig
substitution.
substitution.
And your answer will be something like tan inverse or cosine inverse or sine inverse. Okay? Negative half and multiply u power half by 9. So we have 9u to the power of half minus u power half times u, it's derivative property. So it's u to the power of 3 over
3
2
over 2.
du
Now
equal
integrate.
yes. Integral of 9u to the power of half is what, guys? 9
3 over
constant, leave it. U, add 1 to the exponent,
3 over 2 over multiply
3 over 2
over
اللي هي
3.
half plus 1.
يعني 18 over
And
3
this all
واللي
over
هي
3
6.
over 2. And I'm sure, guys, and some of you maybe still, guys, don't know how to integrate u to the power of half by adding 1 to the exponent and divide by the new exponent here. Allah المستعان. Okay.
Yes, sir.
u to the power of what? 5 over 2. Yes, after this all
Over
work,
two,
I cannot
multiply
here
over.
integrate a simple function. Let's see. Yes, yeah.
Mr. Why didn't we يعني factor from the beginning وخلاص؟ مش هتبقى طريقة
Factorize.
أسهل؟ I think يعني.
Factor here 9 minus x squared, 3 minus
No.
x, 3 plus x. And then
3
what?
yes 3 minus x squared صح؟ لا sorry
بعدين
نسيت في حاجة غلط. sorry. Continue.
لا عشان بس توصل quickly for the integral, the simple. Your goal here is توصل للsimple integral هذا. u power something. شوف easy.
طب مستر سؤال
Okay.
بس.
Yes.
مستر الروت ما فينا نعمل له simplify.
Like
يعني
what?
خلص
3 minus
the root
x?
of yes.
No.
Why?
How يعني؟ أخذتها
هو
في الجبر.
root 9 minus x.
root 9 minus x squared. Yeah, it's 3 minus x.
ايوه وبعدين
No,
distribute the x
not
cube.
equal. Not correct.
ما بتزبط
root
صح؟
9 minus لا ما يطلع كده.
كنت حخدع الكتاب
Okay.
بس ما خدعته، خدعني هو.
اوكي طيب خلصنا هذا multiply the half and try guys to multiply by 2 over 3 times 9.
لا ثاني 20
18 over 3 6.
ايوه 18 over 3 ب 6 yes.
Yes,
6
times
multiply
half.
negative half negative 3
half. Negative 3.
Negative
yes.
3.
Negative 3 and return u back to its original value. احنا كنا فرضينها ب 9 minus x squared to the power of 3 over 2. And don't forget to multiply the negative
10.
half by also the second term.
1 over 10. Wait.
It's a 2 over
Negative
5.
2 over 10.
Plus. How 2 over 10? 1 over 5.
1 over, yes, 1 over 5 multiply negative half.
2 over 10, yes, or 1 over 5,
yes.
طيب. And 9 minus x squared. Okay. 9 minus x squared and to the power of 5 over 2 plus c. Okay, so always guys return your variable u ترجعها تاني 9 minus x squared زي ما قلنا. No need guys to use what trig substitution here. طيب برضو you have to take another question. ناخد question على السك. I think it's here number 14. number كم؟ 14. Yes. 5 minus x squared. Can you let u now as 5 minus x squared?
No.
Let's try. If
yes.
you yes we can. تقربوا الليسن ناخده كله u substitution.
5 minus x du over dx.
Negative 2x.
I don't think you can.
dx. I will try. اصلا why you have to use trig substitution لان الباي parts by u substitution ما بتزبط. you have to use what the trig substitution. طيب the dx now is du over negative 2x. So when you replace dx by du over negative 2x, this x becomes what? X squared.
Yes.
We can find also x squared as 5 minus u times radical u,
Yes.
and also you can finish and do it at.
طب مستر كيف
so
نعملها بالتريج بارتس؟ What's the root of 5؟
It will be 1 over we have
This is
x and du over negative 2x. Yes,
Root
this
u.
negative 2, we can take it outside as what? As
And-
constant,
Yes.
be negative half, root u,
And x squared.
and the x times x will be x squared. So cancel it out, وطبعا انت عارف هتروح تجيبها منين؟ من هنا.
نجيبها من
هتكون
اليو.
u خلاص 5 minus u
5
times u. Okay. And then you can complete here negative half the integral of 1 over 5 minus u multiply u power half du.
Then 5
Yes,
u
yes.
power half minus u power 3 over 2.
What? 5 power
One-
half side.
Yes.
1
5
over
u power 5 u power half
5 u
minus
power half minus u to the power
u
of 3
power
over
3
2.
over 2.
برضه في مشكلة يعني. du. Can you find here?
مستر
integral
فينا
of this
نعملهم نيجاتيف
Hmm.
وباور لفوق نرفعهم لفوق بعدين انتجريت.
We can subtract them.
نو نو
Mister,
نو
will
مش هما
exponents
1
are not equal.
مش هم لا يا مستر مش هما 1 over 5 u power half نعمل 5
You
u
can
power
write them
negative
all
half.
as 5u to the power of
أيوة
half minus
بالظبط.
u to the power of 3 over 2 all to the power of negative 1.
يس أو نحط النيجاتيف
No, no.
على
بعدين
الفوق
برضه ما ليها what integrate مش تقدر. You know you can do this only when there is no exponents here. مثلا بس طبعا مش هيظبط. تمام يا شباب، يعني وضحت ان اليو substitution ما ظبطت صح؟
Yes.
So we have to do it again by trig substitution.
طب مستر بالتريج عادي نستخدم روت، يعني مثلا هون A إذا أخذناها 5 ما في إلها لازم نكتب روت 5 و A squared equal 5 ولا
Yes.
كيف؟
Yeah.
We can use
The
roots
a
يعني.
squared. Yes, لازم. So we have 1 over, then this is all the integral of, we have here x, right? طيب, this one should be a square. So the a is equal, a squared is 5 and the a is radical 5. So a is equal a squared كلها ب 5. So the a is a square root of 5. 5. Okay. So we have to use here the x as قلنا الاكس في الحاله دي يكون معاك x squared minus a squared minus x squared من التابل here a squared minus the sign.
Yes.
Sign.
So root 5 multiply sign.
So x equal root 5, which is a multiplied by sine theta.
Mr. I don't understand the end exercise.
The what? The a?
أنا مش فاهم يا مستر صراحة trigonometric substitution.
Yes. شوف يا مستر. معاك here in the denominator radical 5 minus x squared, right?
Yes.
Okay. In the table قال لك you can use the u substitution if you have any form من الفورمز دي. Number 1 x root a squared minus x squared أو root a squared plus x squared or radical x squared minus a squared. In our question now, the first form we have.
Okay.
Substitution. Replace every x by radical 5 sine theta. Substitution
yes, okay.
also, but in this case بناخد trig substitution، يعني داخل في substitution بتاعك one trig function like sine and tan and sec.
Okay.
Yes, we have
Then,
x and we have x squared. X outside here and we have x squared inside. So this x we can replace it by radical 5 sine theta. But x squared يبقى لازم تعمل ايه differentiate to replace also the dx تعوض عنها. So the dx now equal root 5 constant, and the derivative of sine is cosine theta d theta. This is the dx, and this is the x, and we need x squared. The x squared equals 5. The squaring of root 5 is 5. Sine squared theta. Okay, guys, and let's substitute in the question. 1 over the x. The x now is radical
root 5
5
sine theta.
sine theta, and 5 inside. أيوة.
5 minus
5 minus. Pay attention.
5
x
sine
squared.
theta.
اللي هو 5 sine squared theta.
Now take 5
Right.
as common factor. أو لسه في dx.
لسه dx.
Yes.
dx is what? Radical 5. Let's write it up here. Radical 5 cosine
cosine theta.
theta d theta. حلو جدا.
Okay, cancel out.
Cancel out what? Radical 5 with radical 5. Yes, and then you have integral of fraction. We have cosine theta d theta up
over
here.
Sine theta, multiply the root.
مستر انا بطلت فهم والله ضيعت ان شاء الله.
common factor بعدين substitute 1 minus
Yes, yeah. So we have sine theta and the square root. When we take, guys, 5 common factor, and we still have 1 minus sine square theta. We know that
Yes.
sine is 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared.
بالضبط.
Cosine theta d theta over,
Sine theta multiply root 5 cosine theta.
yes, sine theta multiplied by, yeah, we can
Cosine
write
theta.
this 5 as what, guys? We can
Cosine
write it
theta root
radical
5.
5. Yes, and the radical also, our square root of cosine
Cosine.
squared theta, which is can be cancelled with the cosine on here, because the radical of cosine squared is cosine
Radical
cancel up with the 1
cancel
up.
the square. Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes.
So we have 1 over sine and 1 over radical 5 constant طلع برا. 1 over sine theta دي
Is
theta.
tan.
طيب 1 over sine يا شباب, 1 over sine is cosec.
لا شو tan. Cosec, yes, yes.
Cosec.
Yes.
Yes, yes. 1 over sine is cosec theta. And the integral of cosec theta,
Tan cosec.
yes,
أو
like the
هيك.
sec. No, like the sec. Like the sec. Who remember, guys, the integral of sec? The len,
Negative
absolute
cosec.
value of sec. صباح الفل. Equals the integral. شباب ركزوا. The integral of sec is len, absolute value of sec, x plus tan x. This is the integral of sec.
طيب
integral
خلص لن absolute value of cosec plus
negative len
tan cosec.
plus cotan. Yes. So you
Cotan.
have to know also this one. It's a negative len, absolute value of
cosec
sec
theta.
theta plus cotan
Cotan
theta
theta.
plus c. اوكي يعني هذا معتمد ان احنا عارفينه يعني كرول مثلا. اوكي بس طبعا ليه بروف بحاله. As we proved the integral of sec x. The integral of cosec x of
And
theta
now we
equals
find-
len negative len absolute value of cosec theta plus cotan theta. Now draw
Replace
your what?
theta by x.
تمام. And you have to draw your triangle. Okay, we have triangle here like this up to phi theta, and from the beginning, guys, we did theta as radical x equal radical 5 sine theta. So sine theta equals divide by
X.
radical 5
Sine
each side.
yes.
So sine theta is x over radical 5. So the opposite is x, and the hypotenuse is radical 5, because sine any angle is opposite over hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is radical 5. The other leg, the other leg in this triangle will be the square root of 5 minus x squared.
Root. Yes.
تعرف ان انت ماشي صح، هو طلع لك نفس الكلام. radical 5 minus x squared. So substitute now negative 1 over radical 5
لن كوسيك
ln absolute value. The cosec from the triangle. What's cosec? The cosec is
5 minus
hypotenuse
لا.
over opposite. Hypotenuse over
root
opposite.
5 over x plus
Root 5 over x. The cotan is the reciprocal of tan, and the tan is opposite over adjacent. So the cotan is
5 minus
adjacent over
5 minus
square
x
root of
squared
5 minus x
over
squared
x.
over
x
over x plus what? Plus the
T.
c.
مستر انت
Okay.
حطيت لي 9 بالبارتيسيبيشن الاسبوع الماضي، والله اني بشارك معك.
Yes.
الله يسامحك بس